Oh, it's the hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Sometimes you go over the top rope and you bang your head on the ring apron. Don't do that. That's when you feel like a big dope. Because they're the worst bumps you can be taking. Oh, it's the hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Sometimes you reach out for that hot tag. Then you go ahead and make your own comeback. Why do you do that? That's when you should quit wrestling and you're better off rolling thumbtacks. It's the hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. One more. Sometimes you're distracting the referee, and the babyface has your wrestler pinned. Then you get punched to the ring apron, and you realize all the trouble you're in when it's the hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Now double claps. Here we go. It's NXT 2.1. Bob Squad. I don't know what the numbers are. Maybe there'll be NXT XL. That's not a Windows thing. We're going to keep going to double claps. We're going to mess up the double claps. We're just going to keep on riding. We're going to keep on doing a thing. It's the hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Ba-da-ba-da. Whoa! Yay! What is going on, Bob Squad? How the heck are you? How's tricks? How's the kids? Some weather we're having. Doing a stuff, saying a thing. Rock and rolling, strutting, strolling, moving, grooving, slamming, jamming. What is going on, you crazy cats? Chris Meewah's getting super jacked. He's probably dressed like a wizard in the gym. I assume he does both at the same time. What a visual. It's just like, he's got a beard down to his waist, pumping iron. I'll see you on the next one. What a great visual. I hope that's what's happening. I'm going to pretend that's what's happening in my head. That's the way I see it. But the way I see it is for NXT 2.1, last week was 2.0. For the way I see this new NXT, that's not going to be nearly as entertaining. I'm going to try to make this as fun as I possibly can. This is getting rough. We are talking about the Hulu edition. The Hulu edition, not limited enough, commercial interrupted, Hulu edition, episode edition of NXT 2.0 for September 21st of 2021. This episode was not brought to you by Pepsi Blue. Enjoy the very refreshing taste of Pepsi Blue. This episode was not brought to you by Diet Dr. Pepper. Tastes just like regular Dr. Pepper. This episode was not brought to you by Pepsi Mango. And it sure as heck was not brought to you by Cherry Zero Pepsi Cola. This episode is brought to you by the devil. What the hell happened here? Oh my god, this episode is brought to you by someone who doesn't watch or like professional wrestling. What is the skinny? What is the scuttlebutt? What's the deep dish? We got hoodwink, flim flam, shim shammed, and bamboozled, I say. Let's talk about it. Let's jump right in. There's a big segment up top that made no sense, and this set a tone for the rest of the show being a really bad idea. Tommaso Ciampa has his championship title belt. You're not supposed to say that. And here's a telling. I'm going to jump around here. Here's a telling of there's a new management in charge, and it's not good. There's no longer NXT turnbuckles. I noticed. The WWE logo is on the turnbuckles. Just a little observation. It used to be an NXT logo. Now there's a WWE one. Just want you to know that. There's a big segment. Tommaso Ciampa celebrating his championship, and there's like 6 or 8 big new idiots around him for no reason whatsoever, just to show that he is he's the first 2.0 like champion, I guess, and he is like already a transitional champion. He is keeping that thing warm for that Braun kid. We'll get into that. One of the big new idiots is dressed like Dean Ambrose for reasons I cannot explain. He's wearing a gray tank top and jeans. Did no one think about this? Is this a rib? What the hell is going on? And then LA Knight arrives, reminds everyone he's the best talker in the company, who can never win for whatever reason. And he's another one of those smaller, older guys that we like to watch and still can't win a match or is It's not looking good. So, uh, what's his face? LA Knight and a bunch of guys all start fighting each other. Everyone starts brawling. Everyone starts fighting each other. I think LA Knight said something about, everyone wants to talk, but no one wants to throw the first punch. And Ciampa put his belt down and threw the first punch, that's why I love Ciampa, because he's the babyface who acts like one. The anti-hero badass babyface thing can work if someone would actually act like one and not go, oh yeah, and then keep holding on to their microphone for dear life, like you're Prince Adam with the power sword. Like, if I lose this thing, I'm screwed. Yeah, I said Prince Adam and power sword. On Raw, I talked about Kofi and Xavier dressing like Skeletor and He-Man, respectively. We're staying with it. I don't care. I would have rather been watching He-Man. So in the middle of this big impromptu battle royal, we cut backstage to 4 women, one of which are Kaylee Ray, and the other 3 of which are not important, all brawling with each other for reasons unexplained. And then we go back to the ring, where Ciampa and Braun Breaker, of course, the special, the new big idiots, has cleaned house. But as we cut away to the women's fight and cut back, it was just it was Dunn and Pete Dunne and Ridge Holland were there to set up the tag team main event, and Braun Breaker makes the match. This is his second week on television. He's making main event matches and putting himself in it. Why does every wrestler manager have the authority to make matches? Braun Breaker can, and Ciampa just has to go, oh, I guess I should because he's new and big, and I've only been a champion and been here the entire time. But all right, sure. We cut to a match, I guess. Did I remind you this is the intentionally worst wrestling podcast of all time, hardest part of the ring? You can listen on Podomatic, where we've gotten as high as number 8 of the 100 wrestling podcasts on Podomatic. That's something. And on YouTube, sometimes we'll even get into the double-digit number of views for these videos. Roderick Strong wrestles Kushida, and they beat the Kushida out of each other. Oh, well. Rodney defeats him. There's distractions from his manager Bivens and the big new idiots that are his friends. And then Roderick Strong is the new WWE NXT Cruiserweight champ. I don't know the name of it. They don't call it 205. I think they dropped that. The little purple belt. This is when they could say, hey, guess what? There's a title match next week. And you go, cool. And then you go, oh, it's that one. Ugh, all right. This is how unexcited wrestlers are to wrestle there. Like, this is how unexcited good wrestlers are to be there. Roderick Strong just won a championship and still looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. That's the most WCW 2000 thing I've seen on a WWE program of any kind in a long time. He won the thing and he literally looked like, just hold it up like wrestlers do. I don't care. He didn't care at all. Because out comes, I think because he knows what's coming. We get a visit from Grayson Waller. Who the hell is Grayson? He's another big new idiot. And a big new idiot challenges Roderick for the cruiser thing next week. Oh, that's why. So this big new idiot, who's one of the not less big new idiots, I guess, is gonna beat Roderick next week for the cruiserweight thingy. So that's that. Then we have 2 guys in a bar fight. They're not in a bar fight. They're talking about how they got in a bar fight once, and that's why they're tag partners. Their names are Briggs and Jensen, and one of them is the guy who dressed like Dean Ambrose for no reason. The other guy is dressed like he's trying to sell paper towels for running. Wow. Kaylee Ray is there. Thank God. She wrestles a brief match with Amari Miller. This Amari Miller, she took way too long. Is this recording? I think it is. I don't know if the needle's moving. Okay, yeah, it is. Alrighty. So there was a wacky edit. You probably hear the fan in the background. I can't do anything about that. In the split second, I was in mid-sentence, and what happens, Bob Squad? I was under the impression that the power cord of my computer was also plugged into a wall, and it was not. It was not. That was unfortunate. And it was a whole thing, and I had to restart, so I took a shower. Or excuse me, I don't call them showers. I don't take a shower. I I draw a nude body cleanse. That's what I do. I have a nude body cleanse. That's what I call them. 'Cause I'm classy like that. What we're talking about? Amari Miller. Oh, she was breaking the bubbles, and I hate to burst her bubble, but she needs to go back to wrestling school. Uh, Kaylee Ray had Lou Ferrigno syndrome in this match because she just couldn't get the green off of her. Thankfully, it was like 3 minutes or so, and Kaylee gave her a move or two as she should have, and then beat her up and beat her with her finish in the middle, 1, 2, 3 as she should have. Match gets 33,000 stars. How about that? This was pandemonium. I'm guessing Amari Miller was one of the 4 women in the backstage fight that was taking place in the middle of the in-ring 19 guys fight, one of which looked like Dean Ambrose for no reason. So we're building up Kaylee for Raquel Gonzalez. I'm assuming next week Raquel Gonzalez retains against Frankie Monet, and I would bet Monet on it that Kaylee Ray is the next contender. So that's going to be that. This is not good. Where was I, guys? I'm all kinds of disheveled right now. I'm frazzled. I'm bumfuzzled. Not enjoying. Braun Breaker is on the show again. It's just the Braun Breaker show. And he's talking to a blonde lady. Hey, that didn't take long because you got to talk to a blonde lady. And he referred to the wrestlers as guys. Someone's going to correct that. You're supposed to say superstars. Don't say, oh, all the other guys in the ring. No. You can't say wrestlers on a wrestling show either. He said guys. He'll never say it again. I promise you that. And then we had, the only highlight of the show. This guy named Joe Gacy. Whoever thought of this is a genius. He's a heel woke guy, but he's obnoxious about it and thinks he's better than you and just throws it in your face. And you just know, even if he's saying the right things, you just can't trust him. Like whoever, I'm gonna pat myself on the back just in honor of whoever thought of that, who deserves a pat on the back. That is beyond brilliant, and it's one of the very few times any WWE show feels remotely contemporary, like it's part of the actual world and not part of just its own world. So I appreciate that. And this guy, Joe Gacy, wrestles Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes beats him with his finish, as he should. And Joe Gacy gets up, he wants to handshake Grimes. Grimes is confused. I don't know why Grimes is that confused that a new guy wants to shake hands after losing a match clean. It's not that odd, but Grimes looks like he's never heard of handshakes in his life. And then Joe Gacy just hugs him, and Grimes is confused. And then we recap the wedding from the week before. You know what happened there. And of course, they can't let it die. Enough is not enough. They have to do a honeymoon. So now we're going to see terrible honeymoon skits. The wedding was enough. You've exhausted at least my good graces. Even during the recap, I'll be honest with you, when Beth Phoenix pipes up and says, last night I went online and I got an online degree. I got ordained as a minister online. I still have. I shouldn't have, but I did. It cracked me because it's that preposterous. And then we have a commercial for a vignette for this Van Wagner guy who got a title match in his first match for no reason last week, other than being big. And then he tells us how unconventional he is. And he's so unconventional that he flipped the tire and hit the tire with a sledgehammer and jumped in and out of the tire and has this weird obsession with monster truck tires. He's so unconventional, he did the same hit the tire bullshit that every other guy does. So unconventional. I don't want to go to this convention with Van Wagner. It's just a bunch of monster trucks on their rims, not driving anywhere, and a bunch of people beating the fuck out of tires. Maybe Van Wagner should get some van tires instead of some monster truck tires. How many monster trucks with 3 tires are just rolling around Florida right now because of this stupid obsession? Frankie Monet runs into Raquel Gonzalez. Should look where she's going. Robert Stone did something fake and stupid, pretending to be overly scared of Raquel Gonzalez. Who did they? Yeah, Frankie Monet, and then she ran to somebody else. A new lady that we don't know who she is, and she talks with her shoulders. And then Mandy Rose's evil twin arrives with 2 goons. She arrives with two high school students. And then Mandy Rose's evil twin
proceeded to cut the worst promo of Mandy Rose's Evil Twins career. And Mandy was never known for being dynamite on the mic, but how did she get worse? You can just tell she's so wooden. They gave her so much crap to memorize, and all of it was cliche. She might as well have just said, day in and day, done the Miz promo, day in and day out, first to show up and last to leave. First of all, who cares how long you were there? Maybe you've overstayed your welcome if you're first to show up and last to leave. So she hits all the cliches. She should have told someone she's turning their dreams into a nightmare, and they bit off more than they can chew. And then Mandy Rose is Evil Twin. She explains her heel turn in the middle of her heel turn. She never explained why she turned bad. She explained why she turned brunette. Because you hit me in the face somewhere, and none of you cared. None of you did anything. Like, well, we're not EMTs. What are we supposed to do? You want us jumping the guardrail and charging you? That would be terrifying and inappropriate. Why would we do such a thing? We wouldn't. But she didn't care. She was very upset with us. The reasons unexplained, because no one explained these reasons. And then we have our main event. Pete Dunne and Ridge Holland wrestle Tommaso Ciampa, who's the champion, and Braun Breaker, who's had a second match, who was able to make his second match. He willed his second match into existence. I'm aware of this. So obviously we all know he's the son of Rick Steiner. He is dressed like a Steiner. People are doing the gremlin, the barking, and he even did the Steiner recliner move. They went nuts. And Wade Barrett at one point had to go, I think I've seen this somewhere before. Oh, have you? Because you watched wrestling? So I don't know why we all have to be treated like idiots on this. There's always a thing. There's always a caveat, or even if people are digging it. Because most people seem to be digging this Braun Breaker guy. I'm not quite sold yet. But most people seem to be digging him. But they can't leave well, and they can't let us enjoy something without also saying we think you're morons. And the Steiner omission is we think you're morons. Then why have him dressed like a Steiner? And let him do the Steiner recline. Like, why? So it just has to be in our face and we have to never say anything. Why do you hate your audience so much? I hate this company. They have their tag match. The tag match is fine. Anything with Ciampa and Dunne is fine. I personally like Dunne's finger-stopping, finger-breaking, finger-twisting offense. The problem with it is I could never see it on Raw or SmackDown because it's not a big, grandiose thing. If there's no TV and announcers to really zoom in and show you that, I mean, really, if you're beyond the third row, you can't see what the hell he's doing. So I think it's just I think it's cool. The cameras and the announcers have to be on it. So it's cool, but it's very small. It's not a big grandiose thing. I just never see it on Raw. And don't worry, he's not going to Raw or SmackDown anyway, ever. I don't know the answers. They have this match. Oh, Ciampa hits his finish on Dunne, and then Breaker hits his Gorilla Slam. He didn't get Ridge Holland all the way up. Who cares? He picks up Ridge and does the press slam into the power slam thingy, and Breaker gets the pin, of course. So fans will turn on this guy within a month. I'm calling it right now. And, of course, they both celebrate, but then Braun goes to hand Ciampa the belt, and he holds on too long, and then they stare each other down. Roll credits. Fade to black. Okie doke. So you're never going to stop shoving Braun Breaker down our throats. I guarantee you, fans are going to turn on him. It's going to happen. It's going to happen so quickly. I don't get it. All of the new big idiots have this habit of hopping around. Like, remember when Earthquake used to cut a promo? He was always, shuffling back and forth. But it was his thing. Like, they all do it. Watch the opening segment. And Braun can't. He's the worst offender. He can't stop doing it. It's like his thing mainly, and they all just copy him. Braun does. He moved around Pete Dunne and Ridge Holland with the same amount of ease, and that was kind of scary when he got, I think, the last hot tag, and he was throwing him around. So, he's aggressive. Big boy, impressive athlete. He's intense. Can he talk? Kind of. I mean, he doesn't stumble on his sentences. I mean, he's going to say a lot of written verbiage for a long time, so it doesn't matter if he can talk anymore. Can you recite? I don't know the answer, Bob Squad. I don't know the answer for NXT. NXT 2.1 was not looking good. And I know in the non-Hulu, the regular version, there's more big new idiots that I'm missing. You can't have that many green people on TV. It doesn't work. You can have a couple, but everyone's got to be around them to work with them. I mean, there were no green. I mean, yes, there were no green people versus green people, but there has to be eventually. It's not good. Oh, Kyle O'Reilly ran out there in the main event. He clubbed. I guess he got a little revenge. He clubbed whoever the hell. Took Ridge Holland's weird dildo thing and smacked the bad guys around or some bullshit. I don't know. So Kyle O'Reilly's still there. They'll have a brief Kyle, keep him busy feud. He'll beat Ridge in like 2 weeks from now, something like that. On NXT 2.4 or 3. 2.3. He'll beat him. And that'll be that. And then his contract will run out like everybody else's. And they'll go to AEW probably because Tony Khan's hiring everyone. And they're all going to go out, not outside the ring, but not in the ring. They're going to stand on the ring apron and take bumps on the hardest part of the ring. Bumps on the hardest part of the ring. Ba-da-ba-dip.